Tim Kirby Russia hot takes. Thankfully, President Putin said absolutely nothing new during his State of the Union address. Let me explain why that's a good thing for Russia. So guys, recently we had the big State of the Union address given by Putin. Just like the United States, there's a State of the Union. And of course, the theme mostly revolved around the war in Ukraine. Well, not entirely, but that's obviously at the epicenter of things. But before that, a lot of pundits and other people from both, people who talk about politics and all that, your YouTubers and media people, this, that, and the other, were sort of expecting that there would be something big, like Putin would reveal there'd be a general mobilization of the entire population, or that there would be an official declaration of war, because right now, it's still a special military operation of sorts, and it's not actually like a declared war-on-war sort of situation. So everyone, well, some people, a very large number of people, they really thought that this was going to be something big and there'd be a big revelation. So let's break that down for you now. First thing, that is not the way Putin does business. If we've looked over the years, besides the beginning of the special military operation, there are not a lot of big moments where there's like a big revelation and things are theatrical and Putin comes out and does something huge and massive. That's really not the way that he does things. He's a much more incremental type of person, and maybe more of a behind-the-scenes kind of person. So, first off, expecting pageantry and showmanship and giant revelations was it's just not part of his character. But besides being out of character, well, if there was a general mobilization, that would actually be really bad for Russia, because Russia sort of had a little bit of the luxury of being able to fight this war. The first round of the draft went pretty well, and the people who all served in the military previously went back. There also were a lot of volunteers from throughout the country, thousands upon thousands, and that went pretty good. And the population said, okay, but shifting to sort of like a complete wartime logic where everyone has to fight, first off, in a modern war, I don't think that would really work, because they need people who are highly trained. But even if it did work, it would definitely create the kind of things that NATO would want to happen in Russia. It would create this sort of environment within Russia where, people would maybe start to think, maybe the war's gone too far, maybe we need to negotiate, I don't want to go fight, not everyone was meant to be a warrior, so it could potentially put some cracks in the rock-solid foundation of Russian society that there is right at this moment. So mobilizing, every Ivan, Boris, and buddies, and Sergei that's out there wouldn't really actually be in Russia's best interest, especially because there's this thing called the economy. And more or less, whether feminists like it or not, mostly men drive the economy and the businesses and all that. And we need a lot of men who are still free and young enough to work to keep the economy afloat. And that also kind of ties into a little bit with the next point of why there wasn't like a declaration of now it's a real war. This is a declaration of total war. Well, first off, if Russia actually had to declare that this was a total war, what would happen? Okay, it would essentially mean that the Russian government would mobilize the entire economy to become a war economy for one single purpose, to win this war. And maybe to some people that sounds logical, but guys, it seems like it's really been Russia's benefit that's been able to kind of have its war and have its peacetime economy too. It's sort of like the best of both worlds, and I don't think they want to change that. Secondly, we also forget that this isn't like a war against a foreign power. It is a war on Russia's ancestral territory. And guys, if Russia were to declare war against an enemy, like a real war, a total war, that war would just be push the button. Maybe not the nuclear button, but the hypersonic missile and this, that, and the other button, right? So if Russia were in a war against, let's pick someone that would never happen. Angola. For some reason, the Angolans are have gone too far, again, with their Russophobia. And Russia actually declared war against Angola. That war would be a push-the-button style war, because they don't care how many people would be killed or what they'd have to destroy. The logic of the war in Ukraine remains a special military operation, because the objective isn't just to break the enemy entirely. The objectives are to Well, officially it's to denazify and demilitarize Ukraine, but beyond that, I wouldn't be surprised if one of the more hidden objectives would be to bring back a lot of Russian soil that was a part of Russia for centuries upon centuries. In a war with Angola, that would be not the case. That would just be push the button and let everyone burn. So that's why we're probably not going to see a declaration of war, and if we did, it would get very confusing and contradictory within Russia very soon. And so, guys, that's why the State of the Union address from Putin maybe had some nice quips, as his speechwriters are pretty good, and he's also very good on the cuff by himself. But we're not going to see a mass mobilization or a full declaration of total war, because neither of those two things serves Russia's interests. So anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video and you like the opinions coming out of my big fat mouth, then join up on my Telegram channel. That's Tim Kirby Hardcore on Telegram. Link, of course, in the description.